We are live. So that's the actual, and it's red light, green light.
Okay, fair warning. Just to start this off. First of all, it feels less intimate now that all the lights are on.
Yeah, now all the lights are on.
But hopefully it's better quality.
It's a little bit more sterile.
It's a good thing for this conversation that it's a little more sterile. Massive spoiler warnings. Trigger warnings.
Trigger warnings.
For spoilers.
Squid warnings.
We're going to be talking about Squid Game.
This has been your edgy warning.
And there will be spoilers.
For Squid Game on Netflix. Which needs no introduction.
So I watched all of this show in one night, like the second day.
One sitting. You did all 9.
Yes. Yep. One night I just popped up on the top of my Netflix account and I was like, Squid Game, that sounds like an interesting, it had those like pink characters and I was like, this looks cool.
Yeah.
This looks like it'll be entertaining. Tinsley wasn't even here. I was in the office alone. I was like, fuck it. And I just pressed play.
That was 9 hours.
I literally I started at like maybe 9, 10 p.m., like thinking I was going to go to sleep at like 11 p.m. And I went to bed at like 6 a.m.
Incredible. I haven't done that since like Breaking Bad.
I'm pretty sure I had calls with like investors the next day, and I just
I thought you were gonna say I had calls with investors that I canceled.
No, didn't cancel. Nope, took all the calls. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back to my calendar.
Did you talk to them about Squid Game? Were the whole call were you just like
No, but I do remember like even after it was over, it just being really hard for me to go to sleep because I was like
yeah, and like and also I couldn't. It was hard to stop when I started watching.
Yeah.
Well, you had to like.
I convinced you.
This guy had to tell me about 5,000 times to watch the show. And he'd be like, watch it, Jeff. We got to do a podcast on it. And I'd be like, well, yeah, I'm going to watch it, Josh.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home.
Did you have any, because I remember the best part about when I watched it was that it hadn't gone viral yet. And so I didn't have I had no context.
Right. I frequent Netflix a lot. So like even before it went viral, I saw Squid Game. And I was like, number one, I'm like, that looks interesting, but it just didn't cross my head. But even did you like click on it or
did you have any, like as you were watching at any point where you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen next because I have seen a meme or something?
I saw memes. Like I saw the meme of like the old man, like when they're choosing right before the marble game, and nobody's selecting him because he's old,
right? And
he's just sitting there like this, totally spaced out. I saw that meme. But there was no context, so it wasn't a spoiler. I saw, and you would see the X's and the triangles and the circles. And I just kept thinking, and I think it's got to be intentional, right? That it's literally, do we have the controller? It's literally the PlayStation controller. Like, it's the same font. It's the same art style. It's the same, like, it's extremely evocative.
So I know Sony owns PlayStation, but, like, before then, where did that come from?
Those triangles? And the
or like where did that originate from? It's definitely not America.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, it's definitely not America.
Yeah,
but it's got to be evocative of you see those symbols. Well, at least me, I see those symbols and I think game, right? So that was interesting. And there was I think it's intentional. And like there was a period of time I saw the memes, and I thought it was some weird PlayStation. Like sort of advertising. I thought it was some weird PlayStation.
So PlayStation was created in Tokyo.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So it's close.
Close.
To South Korea.
Like it's absolutely. I think
it's part of like the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's funny because I feel like my first reaction to seeing those triangles and the squares and circles
Just
was
wait
like.
till pardon my French. Just wait till Halloween. Everybody's going to be running down Washington Street.
It's going to be really funny to see what, like...
I'm going to come into work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a circle.
The, like, revealing
Halloween
costumes.
Josh will be the square,
like
right?
The pink crop top.
Yeah.
Like the...
Yeah. I'm going to come in and I'm going to be like, all right, Josh, so what are we working on? And you're going to be like, did you forget the rules? Do not speak until your supervisor speaks to you. All the interns will be... Well, the interns will have the track suits.
Oh, yeah,
It'll be like number one. Yeah. Katie will be number one, and B will be number 450. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so good. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part. I texted Josh this last night, but it was the marble episode.
Don't talk to me.
Huh?
Don't talk to them. Talk
Talking to the view. I'm trying to, I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to connect with you. Whoever's out there, watching
out
this,
there.
It's me and you here. It was, which I think it's episode 7, right? The marble episode.
Sounds right.
That was my favorite episode because that was the moment where
because you built the relationship with the characters and you're like you've been on the journey with them and now like most of them are their journeys are coming to an end.
It's the shift in the show where you forge these connections and it's like, all right, now they got to start killing people and like oh my God, the character from Pakistan again, all the names I completely slipped my mind, but
he was really good.
The fact that he doesn't make it was heartbreaking. I couldn't. And I have such respect for the show that they go there, that they just kill these characters. That
I remember
I was rooting for that guy.
I remember in the marble, once they revealed that like you're not actually working with your partner, you're like playing against them. I was like, oh, and then I just started picking who was going to win from the pairs.
Yeah. Well, the show makes you do that. You're
right.
like, I know what's going to happen. This person's going to win. This person's going to win. This. Like, I actually thought, well, okay, we'll get there. But that episode was my favorite because I told Josh this. I cried like a little baby. I actually cried.
You really cried?
I really did. I was really attached. Like, the old man, like, really, like, you find out in the end that he's got you wrapped around his finger the whole time, right? Like, in a way...
Yeah, so
in a way, it's like he's being false,
right?
But is also not. Like he's also joining in on the games because he really wants to experience it and have a great time. So it's like,
so there's a moment in that marble scene where where you think that whatever the main character is like fooling him, right?
Yeah.
But then it switches and he's like, you're really going to fool an old man?
Brilliant.
And then suddenly, that was the moment where I was like, wait, something fishy is going on here. Mm-hmm. Like that was weird. I don't know.
It was, the show still got me, right? It still got me because I was thinking, yeah, that's fishy.
But he's like come to peace with his death and like he just wanted to transmit one last message to the main character
that's
before he dies. He's
I was like,
learn this lesson, never fool an old man, but I'm going to die. You deserve to live. Yeah. There it is.
And I thought that was beautiful. Yeah. And also just him, like the acting across the board was phenomenal. Yeah. Totally. And he like really, I just thought it was so touching. Like an old man with dementia. Like I find the older I get, I feel like I cry at everything, but just like these days, like the littlest thing will make me cry, but he really...
What does that say, Jeff? What does that say about you?
I don't know what that says about me. Take what you will from that. Yeah. Feeling a lot these days, but
there was one moment. So like
so
the
sad.
one. Well, there's two like plot loopholes, and I hate to like just do this right off the bat.
If you start thinking about it too much, you can.
Well, but there were really only two for me.
Yeah.
And one was like the tug of war. Like if he's gonna. All of the other games, I get that he knows how to play them, and so he's going to live, and he's doing it for fun, and like he doesn't get killed in the marble scene.
I watched some analysis and some kind of reviews of the show afterwards, and there was a small detail where the red light, green light robot, like while it's tracking everybody, you can see
ignores him?
Everyone has like a green filter on top of them, but he doesn't.
Right.
And that kind of confused. I was like, oh, so he wasn't in danger? I thought the whole point was that he was actually playing the games.
Yeah, right.
And if he dies, he dies. But he wanted to experience the fun.
So that's the counter argument for what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
The tug of war thing. It's like, no, he really just wants to be in it and do it. But I always felt there was this tension because it seemed to me like he did. In retrospect, like after you get to the end, you're like, he did have a leg up in a bunch of these things. Even the red light, green light. Without that, if you know that that's what it's going to be, you're you just like are much more calm. Yeah. But the tug of war, he had he just pulls this like brilliant tug of war strategy out of his ass.
Yeah.
Like, nope, you gotta bend your knees and lean
Yeah,
backwards.
well, I guess, I mean, is it trying to say that no matter what team he was on, they were going to win because it's a foolproof strategy, and he knows that?
Man, that's really interesting.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
their team was severely outmatched, and I can't, like, to me, it
It's
seems
a
weird that he
stretch.
would have risked that to be the way he goes.
Yeah.
Like, what a bad
Yeah.
way to go if he's playing the game and he just happens to be paired with a shitty team, and the shitty team loses, and he flies off the thing and dies.
It's interesting. What does he gets the star, right? In the honeycomb game?
I don't remember.
In the
maybe.
cookie, he gets the star, which is interesting because that's like not the easiest one. The triangle was the easiest one, right?
Yeah. But like,
It's
I don't know, maybe
interesting.
he's like played that game so many times that it's like super easy.
yeah,
he's
he's
just like
just
amazing
really-
at it.
he's
All
really
of those
good
make
at it.
sense to me. It's just the tug of war thing. I was like, there's no way he's just gonna
Well,
leave
you
it
said
up
there
to.
were 2 plot holes for you.
Yeah,
What's
so the
other one?
second one, the second one was I just thought they did the like cop smuggling in a little weird. Like if I was the cop, I would have just fucking texted people as it was happening.
I agree.
First of all, second of all,
but
they
wasn't he
zoomed in
not
on the
wasn't
little-
he not getting reception? Wasn't that the problem?
maybe?
He wasn't getting reception.
But even like
He had to get to the other fucking island.
even when he
and
was trailing them, like they would know if someone was following them all the way out to that weird
you
boat.
mean like right at the get-go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you
that's
fucking
true.
tell people like, hey, this is sus. I'm going to go after them. If you don't hear from me in a few days, here's my tracker. I'm going to follow these people as you're following them. You text updates like, you're a fucking cop.
Were you?
What are you doing?
It's true.
And then they zoom in on his little like lapel like button thing. They just keep zooming in on that
what's
to
funny?
show you that
I
that's who he
actually
is.
didn't get. It's funny because that reminded me of Tenet. Did you see Tenet?
Yeah.
It reminded me of how in the beginning of the movie they zoom in on the lapel of and
Well, it's a classic, like, signifier.
In that movie in Tenet, I remember not catching that and being like, "What the hell? I don't know what the hell is going on." And I felt the same way in Squid Game. I was like, "Why are they zooming in on the lapel?"
Yeah,
like I get that.
because he wrestled. You know, he had to like choke the guy out, and so the thing got damaged.
Right.
And that's how they're identifying him when everybody has their mask on.
Yeah.
Anyway, otherwise, I mean,
What were you? Did it surprise you that the sort of leader or the host or whatever you want to call
totally.
him
That was
the brother?
That was amazing.
I didn't get. Yeah, I did not see that.
Was amazing.
coming. That was great.
Apparently, so I heard earlier today from my brother's girlfriend that he's a famous actor. And so when his face was revealed, everyone was
really?
like, whoa! And that's hinting that he's going to be very present in season 2. That they placed him in there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. There's going to be there's a season 2. It's happening.
Yeah, there
100%,
must be.
Yeah.
Well, what solidified it earlier today was like all of these main like prominent actors who they introduced towards the end
Like
of the season.
the actor who played the guy with the briefcase who introduces people to the game and sucks them in. He is like one of the most famous stage actors in Korea.
Cool.
Yeah, and he has such a small part.
The only other thing that I thought was weird or like poorly done, and it was such a good show that like these particular moments just felt weird.
Yeah, it
The
wasn't-
dialogue
it wasn't perfect.
between the VIPs. Like, did they just have a bad English writer or
Here's
something?
the thing, man.
69.
Here's the thing. I'm an actor, so I don't want to speak ill of other actors.
They just weren't good actors.
That was bad. That was bad.
It was bad. Those
the
American VIPs.
And every video and review that I look, because I'm like, I don't know about you, when I watch something and I really like it and I'm interested in it, I go on YouTube and I I find every review, every analysis, I pick it apart and like all the comments are like, this was such a great show except for the VIPs. Like it's a common thing that a lot of people are like, what the hell went on with the VIPs? Like, cause the dialogue, it seems like there's a drop in quality of the dialogue.
Yeah.
And just
And the acting.
the performing and the
Yeah.
it seems like it's really
Well, it was such
weird.
a
And
great
I
opportunity too.
bet-
Like you could do this amazing commentary about.
well, I wanted
what-
them to be like ruthless, like
Yeah.
pigs, right? And
But they were comical,
they
trivial
were comical.
pigs.
It was like surface.
Yeah,
it was like
right. They tried to do the pig
Yeah.
thing, but it was like, and this actually brings me to this really interesting. Well, I find it fascinating that this has gone as viral as it has.
really like you find it fascinating and that
I
you're
find it
surprised.
fascinating in the sense of like, what does it mean, especially for, you know, a Gen Z audience? You know, it's going viral on TikTok, like just the premise, right? That these people are struggling in capitalism, basically.
Yeah.
That they're like, their loan sharks are coming after them. They can't afford healthcare and food, and they're desperate. And they go to this game, and they're just like the prime like players for this game. And then they decide to leave, and they go back to the world, and they're like, you know what?
We want to go
This
back.
world sucks.
Yeah.
Like the capitalism, or just like the environment that we're in, the life that we're living is so bad that I'd rather just play children's games and risk getting shot in the face than have to suffer through my life.
I think like what percentage of Americans do you think are in like debt that they can't pay?
Oh, well, I mean, there are stats that like...
Because I think that's something like, I think like debt and its association with like shame, I think debt is wreathed with shame, right? Mm-hmm. Especially in America. And
I think around the world. I think that's what's...
Yes, around the world.
Because
I think that has a
around the
lot
world.
to do with it.
Yeah.
It contributes to a lot of the
I think the
anxieties of modern life.
The show is like a fantastic commentary on global capitalism. Like for me, it's just, you know, the majority of Americans can't afford like an unexpected $500 bill, and the struggles of not being able to pay healthcare or like pay for food or coming back, right? The main character comes back and his mother's died. Like you go
that
out,
was a shock
you
to me.
try
That
to
was a
earn
shock.
money to like support your family, and then you come back and it's too late. Like,
dude, when he lays down with her and he's like, "Mom, I made some money."
yeah.
Like, wake up, I made some money. I was like, oh my God. It's like,
Right.
That was good writing.
And
again, we're
the
getting
mom-
the English translation, which
Whatever.
sucks. It's, you just have to accept the fact you're not
Even the
getting
mom
full
walking
experience,
out
though.
of the hospital, like, are you kidding me? I'm not, however bad any of my shit is, I am not going to risk having to pay medical bills.
Yes.
She
Yeah,
literally
dude.
walks out as her foot is like falling apart with like diabetes.
The
and she's
feel-
like,
the
do you know how expensive it would be if I stayed in the emergency room?
The feeling of like, will I ever be able to pay off my debts?
Yeah.
I think is something that resonates big time with a lot of people. I know a lot of people my age who have college debt, and they are like, I have friends that have told me that they, like, this is not an exaggeration. They wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and they're staring at the ceiling and they're like, I'm never going to pay off my debts. I'm never going to pay off my college tuition. They're like, unless I something drastic in my life changes, I am going to be paying off student debts until I die. You know?
Yeah,
I think
I hope it's okay for me to say this, but there's another company called Fiveable that's in like our
Fiveable.
investor has also invested in them, and so we've gotten to know like the founders there, and Amanda, the CEO. They just raised a $10 million Series A round, and Amanda
you sent me this. Yeah.
Amanda still has college debt.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being an entrepreneur, like creating a company that investors want to pour $10 million into? You pay yourself like a modest salary, and you still can't pay off your college debt. Mm-hmm. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah. And coming off of, I think the success of the show also has to do with like the year we just came out of.
Yeah.
Cause like it's like this year, the way I think of it is like is my mic still on? I just want to make sure it's still, yeah. Okay, good. I feel like we got like a peek behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of saw how bad things really are.
I think we're still going to see.
We're still going to see.
I don't know if you've seen any of this, but there's like major supply chain constraints in a bunch of areas. Chip shortage is one of them, but there's like a ton of other areas where I think we're going to see like a crunch from sort of the ripple effects of the impacts of the pandemic and like the world shutting down. Mm-hmm. And I think we are seeing now and will continue to see like how fragile the system is, that any kind of disruption wreaks havoc on millions of people's lives. And actually, we were reading into this is relevant. So we were reading into this play to earn phenomenon. I don't know if you've heard about this, but basically, like these games. One of the most popular one is Axie Infinity.
What is this? Yeah, I don't know.
They're games. They're mobile games, but there's 2 Ethereum-based altcoins, cryptocurrency that are tied to like actions in the game. And as you play and you level up your character, you can then trade the character for Ethereum, for cryptocurrency. So you can actually like earn money. This took off in the Philippines, especially in the wake of COVID, because a ton of, especially young adults, but all sorts of people lost their jobs. And so they were playing this game,
play a game,
and they didn't make a ton of money by
because
US
that's
dollar
not
standards.
old. I remember back in the day playing, like you played too. I played a ton of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I remember you could buy accounts.
RuneScape.
You could
buy accounts.
You could sell like a max level. Oh, I've got this
But this
gear
is like
for $1,000.
Like this is the point of the game.
Yeah,
is basically to earn money, and it's gotten so popular that now it's like all the characters are super expensive. But what I found really interesting about that was that this was a lifeline for like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to earn, a base income and then pay for things like their medication by playing this game.
Wow. That's crazy.
And it's really interesting, the Squid Game, the whole thing is around like making a ton of money. And you play to earn.
I looked
Obviously,
it
it's very
up.
different.
I think like, what is it? It ends up being like 46 billion won or something like that, which is, I think it's equal to like 33 to 35 million dollars American.
Yeah. Yeah. I also just love how they had different people, like different kinds of people. Like the reasons that people were there were good. Like even between the 2 main characters, one of them just, having all these loan sharks after him and trying to impress his daughter and take care of her. And then his friend, like, I didn't really understand this, but doing a bunch of like futures trading and some kind of, I don't know what he did, but like clearly something illegal, and he like owed a ton of money. And so that's why he was playing the game.
Like everybody had a different angle.
Yeah.
What did you think? Here's a question, because here's a question. I kept thinking, because I don't know exactly, like I think I have a surface idea of what the show was kind of trying to convey or make us think about. But that the second to last scene when he meets the old man at his deathbed, the corner of that apartment, and he plays the game with him.
Yes.
First of all, do you think the old man saw that he had lost the game?
It doesn't matter.
And doesn't matter. Also, what do you think the show was
trying to communicate with that game?
Yeah.
That is this old man,
not the obvious thing, right? Which is that.
No, to me, the whole point of that was like it was giving an insight, because the old man, once you find out about this and you see this because you're relating to the main character, you're like, fuck that old man, right? Like, why is he creating this game? Why is he putting people through this? Like, why it's some sick thing. And that final game of like watching the guy on the street freeze to death because he's drunk and waiting to see whether someone's going to stop and help him is getting an insight into how the old man is thinking. Like, nobody is out, everybody is out for themselves. It's like the world is messed up, and it's sort of like you start empathizing with him and you see the world from his perspective, but you're
kind of like, oh
yeah, right. Yes, that's true. Like, I have seen homeless men on the street. Nobody stops for them. I haven't stopped for them. Right. I feel that. Me too. And I'm like, man, maybe he's right. Maybe he's like, maybe he's saying something truthful about humanity. And then, of course, at the end, someone comes and swoops in and he's like, you're redeemed. You're like, oh, yes, there's, some good in humanity. There's something good about us somewhere.
Something good about us. Yeah.
Some of us are good, at least. Whatever the takeaway is.
Because I ultimately was trying to, I was like, is this show, just how nihilistic is the show? Or is it truly?
That's why I just think the show is so good it show does such a good job at getting you to think about like how messed up the system is, right?
Yeah.
That moment where they all leave the game and they basically all decide to come back, and the people running the game are
that was probably
all
like
going
one
according
of
to
my
plan.
favorite parts of the show. Like
Right.
I was saying to you before, I thought once they were in the game, that was it. We were going to do
Right.
the 6 games, and the show was going to. No, they leave,
And
then
it's
they
so
come back.
It's so
I
good
think
that they leave
that's-
and come back, because
Yeah, that's
then
one
it's
of the
like,
most brilliant
you
parts
can't-
of the
you
show.
blame the people who are running the show, the game less. You blame them
Yeah.
less because you're like, well, they had a chance to leave. Like you're teetering on the edge of your seat. Like, is the old man gonna vote?
Why do you think because I was watching and I was like, oh, like that's why they made him the last number, right? So that if there was a 50-50, he would be the one to decide.
To keep them in?
Yeah.
But he
No, but he doesn't.
decided
No,
to-
but just he's the last number, so that he's the one that makes the decision. That like dawned on me after watching. I was like, oh,
I think-
that's why he's. But why do you think he chose to end it?
because he knew.
They come back.
Yeah, that's the. They
Right.
even said like, because the game is better when they come back, because
then
they're-
you know.
Well, they're bought in. They're not.
they're
They're
bought
not
in.
like, oh my god, I didn't understand. We're all getting shot. I want to leave. They're like, no, I just went back to the real world, and they're right. Honestly, I'd rather play these fucking children's games to try to win a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Which is so
Yeah.
good. It's such a. It's basically saying, like, we live in a system where
we live in a society.
where playing this game is better.
Yeah.
Is like a
Yeah,
better
yeah.
use of my life than living in society. Mm-hmm. Like it's equivalent. They equate those two, and that's, to me, that's the revelation of the show, and that's why it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also why it resonates with a bunch of different demographics, but especially like Gen Z, because they're like, totally, like, what is the point of this fucking system? Like, we're buried in debt. Like, there's much less of a chance that we'll do better than our parents.
All it takes is a deadly virus to sweep through and just
Right. And
kill us all.
the billionaires and people who are at the top profit even more when things like this happen.
Exactly.
And people at
we're
the
not
bottom,
gonna handle it well.
right.
Like we're not.
Right. And everybody's saying climate change, like all of these issues will
Yeah, like in
disproportionately
50
affect the
50
poor.
years. I mean,
Yeah, it's
we're doomed.
But the attitude is nihilistic, and so this show, it like taps into that and is like, yes,
It does.
Like,
But not in a way that's like bad. Not in the way that like James Cameron did Songbird. Remember that movie?
no, I think they end. No.
He like capitalized on the pandemic and made like a pandemic movie. It was swept under the rug because people were so disgusted with it. Is it James Cameron? My God. Or it might be Michael Bay. I don't know. I think it's Michael Bay. Made a pandemic movie where it's like things have only gotten worse. Like COVID has only accelerated, gotten worse. And it's like 5 years from now. And it was really bad. And it was like right
Also,
when the
like,
pandemic broke out. It was like March of 2020.
they
It was
wrote the whole thing and then directed and filmed it all in like a month.
It zoomed out. Yeah, I actually auditioned for it.
I love how you're shitting on it now, and you're like, well,
Yeah, I auditioned for it. It was like really distasteful.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Anyway,
of course, you can't make a movie that fast and have it be.
it's just not the way to do it either.
Yeah.
Great. Make a movie about COVID. Go for it. But not in that way.
Yeah.
Not in such a literal
Here's a
cash grab
question.
way.
Here's a question. How many people, if Squid Game was real, but it was like, you can sign up if you want, how many people do you think would sign up?
If you could sign up for it, like, I think a lot of people. I think a ton of people would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think people who are. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to be in that much debt.
I think
Like as
people
the
would
lead
sign up.
character, like or having like loan sharks after you. Like I can't imagine the day-to-day dread of that much debt.
I think people would
I think
sign up
you feel dead already.
Even if they didn't have any debt.
Even if they didn't have debt.
I think there would be tons of people who would sign up that are just like, the system
I love
isn't
how
working
long
for me.
it takes. I love how in the show that nobody questions what eliminated means. Like they think they're going to just go back on. Like it takes all the way up until that robot starts like shooting their heads off
don't
for
you
them
think
to
getting
understand
kidnapped,
what.
like is a red
No,
flag.
They're just like so no, but they're so in denial. They're so that tells you the kind of headspace they're in. That they are kind of like willing to do anything to get out of the debt they're in.
I
That they're
just
not even
remembered-
gonna like look at red flags. They're just like, oh,
The other thing that I love it's almost like it felt like theater. The thing that I loved.
Yeah, it did feel like theater.
Actually, multiple times it felt like theater. But the thing that felt the most like theater for me was the fact that room that they wake up in after they get kidnapped changes so many times.
And all of the games are written on the wall.
Right.
The whole time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The games are on the wall.
Literally?
Yes.
They could literally just look at the wall and be like, oh, that's the next game?
Yes.
Fucking idiots.
I know. They're on the wall. And you notice it at the end when they're eating the steak, when they're having their steak dinners.
Oh. Are you sure they didn't just paint the names for the steak dinners scene?
No, I think they're there all the time. Maybe I have to go back.
But I love that they like take that room changes so many times.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's like a stage and they're rearranging set pieces and they're like deconstructing the beds and using them to stab people and then reconstructing them in different configurations. They take beds away when people die. And it's all. Yeah.
The part, man, when the first fight breaks out and the lights are flashing, like strobing, whenever that happens, I'm like, okay, do I have epilepsy? Like every time I get like scared, I'm always like, okay, I'm like I watched that scene on my iPhone, like in bed, and I was like on my side like this, and I was just like, but when the old man like gets up on the top of the bunks,
just have this image of you like sitting sideways in your bed, like.
That's literally what it was. It was just like
spazzing as the screen is shining.
When he got up on like the top bunk and was like, "Stop! Like I'm scared. I don't want to." That was like so theatrical. It was like I was watching theater on screen. It was like it was so like postmodern.
Is that the old guy?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was just like
that's so funny.
Postmodernism.
I forgot about that scene.
Perfect.
He did that because he didn't want the games to end. Like if everybody just kills themselves there, then all the games end.
Exactly. And I think he didn't want to get killed that way. I think he didn't want to get stabbed. I think he maybe felt in that moment, oh shit, I might actually get stabbed right now.
Right. Oh yeah, maybe. There's also that scene where he pees himself.
Yeah.
And it's like super vulnerable, and he like doesn't want to acknowledge it. It's really interesting to think about his psychology as the person who like set up the game.
He's playing two things
and like owns it, and also is vulnerable, and
he also like he wants to play.
Yeah,
he wants to do it. He wants to go through and the dementia is real.
Right. It's almost,
or is it dementia, or it's a tumor, or whatever. The tumor is real.
The tumor is real. I think he's acting the dementia, but it's almost like you almost kind of feel like he's doing a good thing. Like it's good that he created this game because he's giving these people a way out. Like otherwise they would just suffer through the situations that they're in miserably. I mean, it's a very cynical and dark take, but you start building empathy with him, and you kind of, especially by, there are points. Yeah. Even just in retrospect, like thinking about him being in there, it's just so much better that the creator is playing the game.
Yeah. It's very much, I feel like it actually borrows a lot from Saw. Remember Saw? Yeah. That like the creator is like, he's like Jigsaw is like very much involved in the game. Sometimes he's in the room and he's like he's not giving these people a cash prize, but he's giving them the opportunity to like feel, and appreciate life again. It's a different thing.
I saw like one Saw movie.
I just made that association. Like,
no, it's totally.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it was good, man.
It was really good.
It was good.
It was really good.
I binged 5 episodes last night, back to back. I couldn't stop. Except for that VIP episode. I also didn't like that game, the mirror game. I loved, or not the mirror, the glass, the tempered glass and the regular glass, because every game was so creative.
It was a good way to kill off the woman, the North Korean,
and the like the bully
and everybody else,
and everybody else. But I just thought all the games were so creative. Oh, and I felt that game wasn't creative. It was like a 50-50. You step here, you die. You step here, you don't. I kind of wasn't feeling that episode. Yeah, that whole
the actual plot hole that I felt while I was watching it that I just remembered was anytime people die from falling, I don't buy it. It wasn't high enough for all of them to die immediately.
Well,
someone is going to break a
but they
leg.
did show after the tug of war episode, one guy was like still alive. Yeah,
barely alive. There will be people who land on their legs and they're like in a lot of pain, and like their legs are broken, but they're not dead.
The legs will break the fall.
And also, just to do that twice, like have that be the way people die twice, like how high?
That's why I'm saying I felt like
very high.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't actually know.
It was also probably, I don't know what the budget was for this. Famously, it's going around that the creator had a lot of trouble getting this made. He had to like convince Netflix for like 9 years to get it made or something.
I think it was a couple years.
Even less.
But he had to sell his laptop.
For like $500.
Yeah, which is funny because
I imagine there were budgetary constraints. That to me is like, okay, so they had 2 rooms where people fall, and that the Squid Game at the very end is in the same room as the red light, green light. I feel like that was just because like they only had so many sets and so much money. You know, like they might have went in on the same day. And did the red light, green light, and then they shot the end of the show in the same day. You know,
potentially.
And then you save.
But what's interesting
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Like you said earlier, that what's so great about the timing of this is that we're just out, maybe not fully out, but like after the pandemic.
That's the thing too. It feels like, oh, we're out.
Yeah,
we're like out of the pandemic now. Everything's back to normal.
But what's interesting is if he was trying to get this show sold for years,
would it have done as well?
Yeah, it's just like amazing timing that it happened to get picked up and then produced and released.
if the big wigs or the suits at Netflix like realized that. They were like,
now is the time.
Yeah.
Dude, that's giving them way too much credit.
Oh, dude, I'm also I'm sure like Parasite helps, right? That helps. You know what I mean?
No. What do you mean?
Parasite, the movie.
Yeah.
Won the Oscar. Korean film.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I hear Parasite, that movie was amazing.
Yeah.
But I always
think that helps, right?
I always think of like Alien versus Predator for some reason.
No,
and I'm
right.
Alien,
right. No. But like that helps. It's like foreign films are like really
where there's a lot of blood and gore and twists and
really good. Maybe, you know, it's
Well, but it is similar genres of like.
No, that's what I mean. But I'm saying like it's people are
and reflections on poverty and
people are recognizing that foreign TV, foreign films are incredible.
Well, I will say
there is a wealth of films and TV that in America people aren't exposed to, and everything that's being shot here is like.
I will say there's something about it, like the fact that it's based in South Korea and everybody's speaking this language that I don't understand. It helps immerse me more into this world because like it feels.
Well, you're constantly learning new things.
Yeah,
like you're constantly learning about culture, and the show. You can see the show makes a great effort to.
And
teach
also
you
there's
a lot.
just something. There's something. I'd be interested to hear how people feel like how it was received in South Korea. But like, there's something about it being on the other side of the world where I'm like, it makes it believable that something is happening out there like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
you buy into things more.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the wealthy Americans are flying out to see or like, it's not just Americans. There are also people from Beijing and whatever. There's like wealthy
Russia,
businessmen.
There were like,
I
hated those guys.
God.
It was so bad.
Take off your mask.
It was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, why?
It just turns bisexual in the middle.
It was like, what is going on with the performances here? Because like it was stark. Because I can understand that they wanted to make these people as, what's the word?
Like grotesque as possible.
Grotesque, but also obnoxious.
Right.
Like they just annoy you so much. I get that that's the effect. And maybe the director was like, I want you all to just exaggerate. Exaggerate every line badly to the point where it's going to piss the audience off. And maybe that was the effect. It worked because I was like, I fucking hate these guys. You know, I was like, these guys piss me off so much, and I think that was like the effect. Maybe because all the acting across the board is so fantastic.
It's so good.
It was a stark difference.
There are a few lines though that I really liked. Like there were a few intellectual lines where someone quotes Shakespeare or something.
Oh, and he's like, "Oh, you're a fan of the Bard." I didn't know you were a fan of the Bard. I was like, kill me. I was like, this is so dumb. I thought that was silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think like it was in that moment where I was like, oh, there's something here where you could make some commentary about these people actually being really smart and successful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
they're, if you just added more depth to their character,
yeah,
and made them more like they're not just idiot wealthy pigs, which that was stupid. Like that character that was just fat and
sexual.
And,
I was like this.
Yeah. But the other ones, I was
I was wondering, where did these people get their money from? Give me more depth
about why are you smart? Like, what school did you go to? Like, did you go to the best university in Beijing and study whatever, and then became this executive at whatever bank, and now you're here? Like, why are you here?
I was craving that. It was missing from
season 2.
Season 2,
maybe season 2. Do they all die? No.
Those guys? No, they all live except for the one who gets.
No, didn't he live? He was just
unconscious, he
right?
does. He spares him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't kill him. Interesting.
Probably because the gunshot would be loud.
You don't. They're in the last episode, right, during the Squid Game, and then you just kind of never really see them again. Yeah, they survive.
But the game. So
another thing that the show
game just continues.
Yeah, the game just continues, and I guess none of the information got sent by the phone. That didn't happen.
I mean, also he's definitely alive, for sure.
Oh, the brother?
Alive. Yes. He is alive.
Yeah, they
shot him in the shoulder. He falls off into the water. He's alive. 100%.
Yeah, you think he got picked up by the Coast Guard or by the
or he just washes up on a beach and some people find him and they're like, oh, what's going on? Like he's far enough away from the island, close enough to civilization, and they shoot him in the shoulder. Their brother shoots him in the shoulder.
That's funny because I thought oh, he's dead. Fine. That's fine. Like his arc, his plot, it's over. Like I thought there was nothing more to explore with that character. But yeah, he could very well be alive.
Yeah, because the main guy is still alive. The other brother is still alive, and their relationship isn't resolved.
That's like a spicy.
Well, you have to resolve their conflict. The conflict is not resolved by the brother shooting him. There's more backstory there that clearly needs to be.
Yeah, because it was because the brother's reaction to finding out that he is the host of this whole thing wasn't as mind blowing as it wasn't completely out of left field for the brother, right?
It was out left field for us.
It was for us. It was,
yeah.
But for the brother, he was just kind of
no.
Why did you do this? Why are you doing this? As opposed to
Well, I guess the brother did find out that he was a winner, which is interesting, right? The people who win maybe then somehow get sucked back into playing the game.
Yeah.
And I also I guess another plot hole I just remembered is the voice. How does their voice get distorted? There's something in their mask.
Yeah, I guess something in the mask. Yeah,
it's like a little voice transformer.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, dude. There was a moment where I don't know how I felt about the ending, when the protagonist is getting on the plane, I guess was he going to go to the U.S.?
He was going to go to the U.S. to see his daughter.
He picks up the phone. I thought this would have been killer. I thought this would have been really cool. I thought he was going to pick up the phone and go do the game again. I thought he saw somebody else playing the game and he missed it. That's what I thought. And I knew. I was like, wow, that's really amazing. But no, he calls and he's like, the last little speech where he's like, we aren't horses. We're human beings, damn it. And I'm going to stop following you. I thought it was a little cliche.
It was fine because he's he's about to go. He's right. You have to see the arc, right? He's for 2 years, he has all this money and he doesn't do anything with it. Yeah. First of all, what the fuck, dude? Your daughter is away with her new family. You have millions of dollars and you don't do anything.
That's how I felt. I was
just because your mom is dead, she was old and she was sick, go take care of your daughter.
He feels the
guilty?
the guilt, but I didn't.
Maybe that's just me.
I agree with you. I actually didn't buy that.
Yeah.
I was like, who is he? Jesus?
But what I was
who is he? Jesus Christ?
I was after he has his revelation, he turns his hair pink or whatever.
Red, yeah.
Then he sees playing the game. He gets angry because he's like, oh wait. That wasn't a one-off thing. They're still doing it.
This is how they.
Yeah, he gets angry. He takes the card. He calls them. I think he's calling them to really check. Are you really doing this? Is this really continuing? Even though I was with the creator and he died, you're still doing it when the creator's dead.
And then he makes the decision in that moment. Wait, no, I'm not getting on the plane. I gotta go do.
Maybe
something
he
about
does
this.
Go play the game again. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes back.
But I thought maybe he's gonna become the next, like the brother, whoever is the host,
the
of
creator.
game. Maybe he's gonna become the next one.
Yeah.
You know, I thought.
What's his name?
I thought maybe.
What do they call him? The like.
Yeah. What do they call him?
Call him something.
Anyway.
Oh. People who are watching this are going to be
the
like,
master, the guy, the game master,
supervisor.
Supervisors are the squares, right? They're the supervisors.
Oh.
That's what they're called.
The operator.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
Operator sounds right. But I thought like, whoa, maybe it's going to be like a Darth Vader kind of arc. You know, like
like all the winners.
He becomes.
Well, I love that
he gets sucked back in, and he becomes.
I
like
love that the cop finds like all of the records. First of
Yeah.
all, like what fucking idiots for keeping the records for all of these things? Like, hello, illegal things 101. Don't keep records of all.
They could have been hidden better. There could have been like a safe with a code.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like to be fair, like it's hard enough to get to that island. Nobody knows about it. Like the idea that someone's gonna sneak up and then go into the master's closet.
Yeah, but you know, just a code. Yeah, just a little safe with a lock would have solved that.
Dude, what's the thing called where you twist the key and then the people dance? What's that thing called?
Oh, I don't know. Wasn't there one of those in the show?
Yeah,
remember the
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
What is that called? You
No
turn the
idea.
key and the people
No
dance.
idea what it's called. Little dancing men.
Yeah, it's playing like
the little dancing boys.
what is it playing? It's playing Frank Sinatra or something.
Yeah, fly me to the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. The music was also like, you know, it's just great. Yeah. You did that pretty well.
Yeah.
Mokongwa kochi.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. All right. Go see Squid Game.
Well, yeah, go watch Squid Game now.
Okay, fair enough.
Enjoy the show.
Oops, we spoiled everything for you. Go watch it.
Yeah, go enjoy it. I know some people that I had a friend back home who very fascinating. He like loved spoilers. He like enjoyed spoilers. He would watch when Breaking Bad came out. He waited for it to end, read all the spoilers, and then watched the show. That's how he liked to ingest media.
It's terrible.
I thought it was interesting because then, you know, if you know what's going to happen, you're focusing on other things. And maybe it's like
Watch it twice.
You know, maybe he doesn't have the time. He's at MIT now.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have
He's
time.
above the lowly people to watch the shows twice.
Yeah.
We heard from a student the other day that they've watched The Office 11 times.
No, that's a lot.
It's so many times.
That's
The
a lot.
second time I watch something, I'm like, oh, okay.
I've watched a show. I've watched The Wire twice. I watched Breaking Bad twice. I watched this great show called 6 Feet Under twice. Have you ever watched 6 Feet Under?
No, I've heard of it.
So good. It's good to watch things. I mean, if it's good enough, you'll watch it twice.
Yeah.
I think if something is good enough, you have no choice. You're going to watch it again at some
Tinsley
point
hasn't
in your
seen
life.
it, so I might watch it with her.
Seen what?
Squid Game.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch it again. See all the little details.
We're about to go watch the whole. We're going to
foreshadowing.
binge the whole
let's
thing
go
right
watch
now.
it again. All right.